Wow.
He likes to play with buttons.
Yes, I do like the buttons. Hello and welcome to Chubby Boy Magic!
Sunday.
Correct. He gets it already. See, I'm going to replace you just next
Yep.
time, Spanky.
Yep.
On this
Monster Jam.
Monster Jam. Hold on.
Monster Jam!
Yeah. Sunday.
You'll get the whole seat, but you only
At
need
the
the edge.
Lazy E Arena.
I remember when it used to be over at the
Myriad?
or
the fairgrounds,
The
too.
fairgrounds. Yeah, that was the last
Yeah.
place I saw it at.
The last one I saw it at was the Myriad.
So on this episode, we have the infamous, the highly requested Kickstart Mike.
Well, thank you.
Mike, I am not going to butcher your last name because I asked several people, how do you pronounce your last name?
Antinoro.
Antinoro. Okay, where is that from?
It's from Italy.
From Italy? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Don't get a smarter with me,
Yeah.
okay?
yeah.
It ends in a vowel.
Yeah.
Come
I-
on.
You get a
Figured-
whack.
Yeah, I figured my wife would be so upset because she wants to buy a house in Italy so bad. So,
Yeah, don't we all?
well, I mean, they're getting cheaper now. I just can't get full citizenship.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're cheap for a reason because they're not around anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, she looked at one that was like 40 hours away from everything. I was like, why? But anyway, so Mr. Mike,
Yes, sir.
I have so many questions. I have a lot of people have told me cool insights, but before we get into that, there's going to be a lot of people that have listened to the episodes but don't have any idea who you are.
That's
So
okay.
who are you and why are you here? Because you also asked, why am I here?
You invited me to do a podcast.
I did.
When I get around motorcycle events, I talk a lot,
Yeah.
and I tell a lot of my. I'm 72. I was born in 1952,
Oh, nice.
so I'm an older guy, and I was around,
Yeah.
Right?
and I have a lot of stories.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing I've heard is a
'Cause
lot of stories.
Yeah.
I got a lot of stories.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm just finally not the oldest one.
usually he's trumping that on a lot of people.
And sometimes I'll tell a story, and it's like, if I want to add something to make it funny,
Yeah.
I'll do that. But
Right,
I don't just intentionally.
You're not embellishing a whole lot.
Right, I don't want to lie.
Right.
Yeah. You might punch it up a little bit. You're
Yeah.
like, then this happened, which was a little extra.
Yeah.
But I've heard, you've ridden across America on your hardtail chopper.
Well, yes. I mean, I didn't start at one coast and go to the other coast.
You just kind of went all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, how long have you been riding?
Yeah.
Okay. I started riding in my 20s,
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
and
What was your first bike?
my first bike was a 1951 Chopper Harley.
oh, shit.
Nice.
Okay.
I bought it from a guy,
All right.
and I rode it around for a while. But back then in the 70s, here's another story.
That's why you're here.
Back in the 70s, it was pretty rough.
Yeah. All right, now, can I ask before we get too
Yes.
far, where are you from originally at?
I was born a poor black child.
Oh my God, the jerk. I love it. I love it. Yes, hold on.
I was born in Harlingen, Texas, down in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas.
Okay.
And so I went to school in McAllen, Texas,
Okay.
until I was my first through sixth grade. And then my parents got a divorce and we moved to Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. That's how you wound up here.
That's why I ended up here.
So have you lived primarily in the Oklahoma City area for most of the time?
Yeah, primarily, yes.
Okay.
When I dropped out of high school, this was in the late 60s, I took off and hitchhiked
Yeah.
out to California. And
Nice.
Okay.
so...
Which high school did you go to?
Well, I went to, I was going to go to Grant.
Okay.
And then my parents moved, so I had to go to Moore. I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
And I got in a few fights and I didn't do the work very well. And
Yeah.
so I just left. It
Yeah.
was,
You were over it.
I was over. Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents, you're not going to mount anything. And I go, Okay.
You're like, well, all right. She's like, I guess.
If you don't get an
Love you
education.
too.
Yeah. If you don't get an education, that's what
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
the deal.
yeah.
Okay, so
Anyway.
beyond that, okay, so you bought your Harley,
Mm-hmm.
and then so it was kind of rough around here.
Well, I worked at Aero Commander
Okay,
out there off of 50th and Rockwell.
all right,
Yeah.
I worked in the production. I worked in. I was an expediter, but before that, I was in fabrications.
okay,
So I ran a punch press. I ran a whole punch,
Right.
and then I started getting into being an expediter. I was a parts handler,
yeah,
Right.
and since I
Over
worked
here to over there, over here.
since I worked in fab, I kind of was familiar with a lot of the parts, and
Yeah.
hey, go find this. The wing is shut down because they need these parts, and so I worked there for a few years, and it just got to be really, it got to be annoying. It got to be redundant. There we go.
Monotonous.
Yes.
Yeah, monotonous.
And-
Yeah.
The thrill was gone,
Yeah.
and I was making $3.75 an hour.
That tells you what year this was.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't even,
It was
about 50 years ago.
yeah, it was a while ago.
It was 50 years
Yeah.
ago. I remember my son was born when I worked out there. My oldest son, he's 50. And I did that for a while, and I was married, and that didn't last I was my first wife. It didn't last very long. So
That's usually how that goes.
yeah, I was too young. I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So anyway, I left, and I had that bike, and I wanted to take off on that bike, and I didn't do it, and then I ended up selling it.
Okay.
And as for motorcycles, I didn't have that chopper very long.
Yeah.
So I hitchhiked out to California again and lived out there. And
So have you always ridden choppers?
pretty much,
Pretty much. Yeah.
choppers is, honestly, I don't care what you ride. I'm passionate
Right.
about
You're a
choppers.
motorcyclist.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about choppers. I enjoy building my own bikes. I enjoy making as much parts on my bike as I possibly
right.
That's
can.
really cool. Yeah.
And I'm pretty well about self-taught
As a machinist and fabricator and all that stuff.
machinist. You mean a drill?
Yeah.
A drill and a piece of sandpaper
and a
Yeah.
grinder.
and a grinder? Yeah.
He's like, my lathe is my drill with
Yeah.
a zip tie on it.
There
I
you
just
go.
Chuck the part in there.
Absolutely.
He's missing 4 fingers, by the way, everybody.
And you have to have a ball peen hammer and a bent screwdriver. It doesn't matter what
absolutely.
Yeah.
you don't have the screwdriver can be Phillips or it can be
It just needs to be bent.
it just needs to be bent, and you can pretty well
Phillips that you've ground down to make it sharper because you've stripped it out.
yeah.
You know,
Wow.
you're really
Rounded
getting
it off.
Yeah. It's like whenever I get Allen heads where I'm like, oh, all right, this Allen key's messed up. Nope, grind it again. It's just going to get more straight as it goes further back.
But see, that was for me that was an accomplishment when I built my own bike, my first bike, and
Well,
actually
certainly, yeah.
because I wasn't supposed to mount to anything.
Right.
And you just told, did you, when you
I
finished
still
it,
haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
it's
have,
too late.
I was like, you live on a farm and you have goats. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and dogs, and
Yeah.
I always tell people that I live on a. They go, "What do you do with all these animals?" And I go, "Feed them." Actually, actually, it's a poop factory.
Yeah.
That's fairly
Now-
accurate.
Now you have a recovering possum right now too, don't you?
Yes. Well, we
what?
let them all go. We let them go
What?
night before last.
Okay. Okay.
You had a what?
Possum.
Yeah?
Awesome.
What
Yeah.
happened?
Well,
Dogs.
okay, we
Farm,
have.
farm dogs.
Did I miss this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, you got to follow me. You got to creep on me
Oh,
on
okay.
Instagram.
I've been actually doing work lately, so I've
Okay,
been-
all right.
yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it. Anyway, my wife
Gotta
is
creep on these guests.
Yeah, I know. I got to do more production stuff.
my wife. She's a retired nurse,
All right.
and she's just has that nursing in her. We find a wounded animal on the property. Of course, we got to bring it in the house, and so having 7 Great Pyrenees, not too many things get in our I have 20 acres, but we live on 10. The other one's fenced off.
Right.
And we have skunks. Skunks, the dogs pretty much kill them.
Right.
But the possums, I guess when they really play possum,
yeah.
they leave them alone.
Yeah, because they're like, man, the thrill is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Call back. Yeah.
So anyway, my wife goes out there and gets them. Well, this first one that we had, she named her Penny.
I love that she named her.
She named it Penny and found out that Penny had about 8 babies.
Oh, she did.
Yeah. She had 8 babies. Yeah. And so we had her in a cage. So anyway, I walk into the kitchen and there was this plate of vegetables and man, it was cut up sweet potatoes and lettuce and I don't think
a
of
full spread.
Oh, it was a salad. And I go, man, is this for dinner tonight? She goes, no, that's for Penny. I go, who's Penny?
Yeah, you're like, who the hell?
Who's Penny? Oh, we got another.
Like, do
what
we have
about
another kid?
Juanita? Now, Juanita, I'd understand, but Penny, I don't know,
Yeah.
So went in there and there was a possum in there, but and she opened a can of sardines for the possum, and she had cut up sweet potatoes and cut up jicama and just different things we had in the refrigerator.
Your wife's a real nice lady.
She is.
She has seen Dr. Doolittle one too many times.
Possums are the only
I don't know.
native marsupial in the United States.
So
yes.
Rex, who's hanging out next to Spanky right now, we live on a half acre in the middle of the city, and he's not really the hunting type. But one night he came out and he got after a possum, and I went over there and got him by the nape, and I was like, no! And I dragged him back off, and I'm getting back inside. And this possum's over there playing dead. And then I'm like hearing all this noise. And he murdered 8 babies. And I was quite upset. He's my baby, but we were not on good terms for a little bit. And I was going to bring the possum inside and do the same thing. And my wife was like, what in the fuck is wrong with you? She's a nice lady, but she's not that nice.
Dogs being dogs.
Yeah, I know. But
did you ever see the movie One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest?
I haven't watched it in a long time.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Nurse Ratchet.
Uh-huh.
That's my wife.
That's your wife?
Yeah.
She was in the movie. Yeah. Jack Nicholson and her real close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's also a Nazi nurse.
Oh, yeah. She's real strict.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's real fun.
Yeah. You either take these pills or I'm going to shove them down your throat.
Yeah. And you're getting the medicine one way or the other.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
I don't care which end they're going in.
Yeah, that was another.
Yeah, she's like, you can taste them or you can feel them.
That's right. Whatever you want to do, but you're
but you're getting them.
So,
how long have you and your wife been together for?
44. It'll be 44 years.
So is this second time with the charm or third time the charm?
This was the second time.
The second time he was like 2 and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so does she ride motorcycles with you?
No, she used to a long time ago, but.
Okay.
Working in the OR for so many years, and
yeah,
they're donor cycles, murder cycles,
the names.
Yeah. So
does she? This is something I've been asked by a lot of guys that don't ride or just started riding. How did you? I mean, obviously you were established as a motorcyclist beforehand, but
right.
And since she's apprehensive about it now, like, how do you ever have to have a conversation where you're like, this is something that makes me who I am? Or,
no.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll just tell him. Hey, just tell him that's what's going on.
Yeah.
I say I'm going to, like next week, I'm going, Wednesday. This is Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday. I'm leaving for Tennessee and going to the Loretta Lynn's.
Okay.
So I told her and she goes, oh, I'd see you go by.
That's how you know
the
you've
love.
been married a long time. Okay, bye.
That's when I do that. My wife's like, all right, you can leave. I'm like, all right, go on. Just, I'll see you later.
Mine just, hate to see you go by.
Bye.
Yeah.
So was it last year that you and Nick, Knives by Nick out of Dallas, you guys went all through New Mexico, Utah, Arizona, did the like Four Corners?
Okay. Not in New Mexico. Right. Well, that was 2 years. That would be 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay. It was.
Get it right, Spanky.
No, that's okay. Hey, it's all right. It's it's what's a year?
Because it was with Danger Dan. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the podcast I knew that you'd for sure been on. So I was like, all right, so I can do that. Shout out to Danger Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Knives by Nick.
Knives by Nick.
We actually met and talked with him, or I did. I don't know if you did, at the camp out a couple weekends ago.
Man,
Oh,
I was
the
I was
K
at it.
River.
K
Yeah.
River, yeah, we were down there for the Fast Life camp out.
I wanted to go.
And he was down there, and I've followed him for years, and like looked at his knives, and kind of same kind of thing where he's kind of just living his life like he's doing him, and which is impressive. These
On the still
days.
horse that he rides.
You don't see people living their lives like they,
Well, that's his income.
Yeah,
He don't have
no,
a job. That's
no,
his job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked to him and spent 30 minutes, an hour or something talking with him and like getting to know him. He's a super nice guy. And then was looking at some of the video when you guys did your trip with the riding through, and that looked like it was
fun.
that looked like a good time.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay,
That's what we're here for.
I'd love to. Because I'd love to do that
This-
route.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the thing of it is like I wanted to get a group of guys on choppers,
Right,
choppers that they built,
Right.
Okay.
and I wanted it to be a kickstart,
Right.
kickstart bike, choppers that you got that we all built, and take off and be gone for a while.
Now, how did you, when you say a while, do you normally just go like, I want to be gone for 2 weeks and I want to go back home and see the possums, or does it just kind of organically go however the hell long it's going to last?
Hey, when I leave, I know the animals are going to be taken care of.
That's true. That's from what I've heard.
Yeah.
It sounds like everything's all
Right.
locked up.
Now, when I get home, I may not have anything to eat. I can go fix it myself.
Right.
But other than that, yeah.
Yeah.
So Dan is the one that kind of orchestrated everything.
Okay.
So, see, I've known Dan for quite a while. I've known Nick for a few years, and then Al that I've known him for a while. Al he plays guitar as a singer
Yeah.
for Lulu and the Black Sheep.
All right. I'm gonna have to look them up.
Troubadour. He works for Oliver Peck.
Oh,
right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So he's like a legit, like that's his career is the music industry.
music and tattoos.
Okay.
So he does tattoo and
Yeah.
it's kind of like me, I was a painter. I painted houses for money, and then I bought motorcycles to lose money.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you become a millionaire? in
Yeah.
drag racing. Like starting out a billionaire.
We're there.
Yeah.
So when we were,
Yeah.
so when we got this trip together, we met up in Red River, New Mexico, and so then we went up to Durango, and then we went over into Moab, and then back down into Arizona. But growing up, I had a bike. I had bikes, but I never rode a dirt bike.
Right. I never had dirt bikes as a
Right.
kid. I rode bicycles, or I had a little enduro, but I rode it on the street.
And I lived in Oklahoma.
There's
You
no
know,
place to go ride them.
Well, well, there is, but it's like
Yeah.
here's another thing, and I'm getting at is like we go to we have roads that are really, really straight.
Correct.
Right.
You
We're
know,
a miles grid system.
Yeah.
When you go to New Mexico, no, it's
There's
They're
not a
not
straight,
straight.
road. Yeah.
But here's what I'm saying is that I never rode curves
yeah.
and turns like
Yeah,
they
you're
have
how
up
do I
there.
English my body. And all
Yeah,
that too.
it's like. I went in the other lane. I'm sure glad there wasn't a car coming.
Right.
And it's like, but those guys, man, they are.
We're ripping it up.
Well, I'm in my 70s, okay?
Yeah.
Hey man, no judgment. Like,
Yeah,
we
it's
just
like
rode the Talamina. That was the first time on a motorcycle for me. A lot of people were like, "What are you doing?" Yeah.
so. Anyway, I'm so fortunate with Dan as my friend and Nick and Al and some of these guys, and they wait for me.
Yeah.
They don't just be like, we'll see you in the next town,
No.
4 hours away.
No, they're really kind to the elderly. So,
No one's calling for elderly abuse with you. Yeah.
but when and let me tell you a couple of things about Dan and Nick and Al. I had an alcohol problem when I was younger, and I've been sober now for probably close to about 27 years.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you want to buy me a beer?
Yeah, I'll buy you a beer for it. That's what my dad did when he got sober. Hey, anybody gonna give me a beer for being sober? Yeah.
So I quit smoking pot a year before. I didn't care for pot that much.
It's just a thing to do.
Yeah, it was, plus, back in the 60s, I did way too much LSD.
I bet you know my dad.
I probably did.
I bet you know my dad.
I
There's no way if you were in Oklahoma City in that time frame. Yeah.
did he go to Paseo?
Yeah, he went everywhere. He used to. So this tire that's the table. He used to work for a top fuel team, and that guy, we're not gonna say his name,
Okay.
but he would rebuild the motors in the back of that guy's trailer going to Lions drag strip, and he would do speed and LSD in the back of the trailer as
Yeah.
he rode down the highway. So
That's good times.
I'm gonna have that story recorded.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
But going back to Nick and Dan and Al, I kind of gravitated toward these guys because, as long as I've known Nick, I very seldom ever see him drink.
right.
He does drink a beer, and
Yeah.
I've never seen him sloppy. I
never seen him hammered.
no,
Right.
Yeah.
never have. But I know, I know they've done it. But it's like
right.
when I get on a motorcycle, I don't want to have to follow a guy that I.
All over the place.
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't. You're just worried about everything going on at that point.
Right, and if you drink, it doesn't bother me.
I was like, I'm gonna hide this beer. My dad's here right now.
It doesn't bother me. What are you drinking?
A Voodoo Ranger.
Come here, let me slap you upside the head. But same with Dan. When I met Dan, he was completely sober, and in pot he didn't really like it. But Al, he went through a few phases. But then again, I've never seen Al.
Just belligerent. or
Yeah, I mean, no, he
Fall
didn't.
down and break his nose in
Right.
the parking lot of a bar. Yeah.
But anyway, that's why I like those guys. And
Like-mindedness.
yes,
Not only on choppers, but
Yeah.
substances and whatnot.
And some of the things that okay, I'm involved. I go to church,
Right.
and I'm involved. I used to be more involved in church.
Yeah.
And and they had a lot of those guys have biblical principles that they don't really realize what they have.
The greatest Christians you've ever met that aren't Christian.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like not once, I've traveled all over the place with these guys. Not once, we'll could check her. Hey man, check her out. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
she's nice. But as to go hit on something, never seen it.
Yeah. They're
Right,
not over there
right.
just being
No, they're
booze
not.
hounds and poon hounds.
Yeah.
Whoring is what I call it.
Yeah.
Warren
No,
Thean.
it's true.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, and hey, I don't sugarcoat anything.
No.
But that was really neat. That being around these guys like that. I've been around other guys that were married, and and they're like, man, quit doing that.
Yeah. The entire
Yeah.
time you're like trying to like police them.
What's the point of being married if you're out catting around and
Right.
Yeah.
trying to chase down every piece of tail that walks by? It's-
That was the old
It's
days.
exhausting.
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
that
It's
was the
exhausting.
old- yeah, it's exhausting.
It's exhausting. I get
I
tired
don't have
of
the
it.
time, energy, or
Yeah.
money for all that crap.
Yeah, I barely have enough time for my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and like giving, like we'll be at a restaurant, and it's like I can't believe the money they lay on the table for a tip for people.
Right.
So just a good solid group of guys to hang
Yes.
out with. Like that you're gonna have your back, or that you're gonna have their back the entire time, and they have your back,
Right.
and they're not gonna elderly abuse you.
Well, sometimes they
Sometimes.
do. That's okay. I can take it. So, and just I can just tell you, here I can tell you another story. We've been traveling for a few days, and we were pretty grubby, and we pulled into this restaurant, and this couple walks in. I mean, she was nice looking. They were all dressed really good, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so, and there was me and Dan and Al and Nick, and we were eating, and the girl goes, man, that looks pretty good. Yeah, Dan was telling her and he goes, you want a bite? He took his knife and cut off a piece of that meat and
Handed it to her.
handed it to her, and she took a bite. She goes, man, that is good. And it's like, I mean, that really, it's like, that really kind of, I was going, man, I mean, she actually took the bite off of his fork. That
Oh, she
Right,
wasn't like,
right.
just let me take that in my hand. She
Yeah.
like, got the fork in her.
Yeah.
What did her husband look like? Was he terrified?
yeah,
Was he over there like, oh god?
I don't know, but he did. He did look. But it's just the people that we meet at gas stations is priceless. Here we are. We look. We're
Yeah, you're gonna look.
we grubby.
Yeah,
We be grubby.
We've come across that in some of our travels and the trips we've done. Just the salt of the people you meet and the experiences you have when you're, you go out and you're just open. You're not
Right.
yeah.
pissed off at the world. You're just
living.
You meet some of the best characters on the road, and
Yes.
we have some of the best
100%.
stories,
Yeah.
and it's like just from being nice, and I feel like anymore, like I said, I'm getting old too, but I feel
He's a guest. Don't
Like-
call him old.
gratitude is a fading, not art, but it's not there anymore. People are so geared towards don't talk to anybody. Everybody's dangerous. You don't know who they are. Oh, you're a biker.
Yeah.
Can't talk to you. You're a criminal.
Well,
And it's like
it's the sense of community just from being in your. I'm going into your community.
right,
I'm a communal part of your person now. Like now, I'm in this small town,
right.
and that's lost because people are going to sit on their phones and do whatever, and they're not going to talk to anybody.
Well, not only that, but then people don't help people anymore.
Yeah, like how many
you
times
know?
have you seen me stop on the side of the road just because someone looked like they needed help, and he's
Yeah.
like, "We've got something to do." It's like, and they needed my help, and same thing because like I know
Yeah.
you would do it, and you, Mr. Mike, you look like you probably wouldn't shoot me the bird as you went by, but figure it out.
Hope you make it.
Yeah.
But you don't see kindness anymore, or compassion from a lot of people. There still there it is still there, but it seems like it is being phased out.
It's
of
dwindling. Yeah,
And another thing, somebody go, okay, I'm going to kind of exaggerate here. I want to tell you that. It's like,
embellish.
it's like, hey, I took this picture of this guy. He opened the door for me. Wasn't he nice?
That's such a weird thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
really?
I do that for so many people. When someone goes well out of their way, like I do want to be like, hey,
Right.
shout out, man. Like that was really nice. Like you didn't have to do any of that.
Well, it was
Open the door was one thing.
like the other day it was last Friday. We went to get lunch, and we go to this restaurant.
oh yeah, I was like, where were we?
And it's a little restaurant downtown, and it used to be run by a lady and her husband. Her husband passed away, so it's just the lady. So we go in, and all the tables are dirty. There's trays and trash on all the tables. There's a line of people. She's working. You can kind of see she's just kind of frantically working and doing this. And, people are kind of looking at their watches, and you can see them rolling their eyes. And I'm sitting there looking around, and it's like, I start busting
Yeah.
tables, just getting the trays and then taking it, dumping the trash, putting everything up. And
We were in line for like probably 30 minutes. We spent probably solid 10 minutes trying to figure out where the trash can that was empty for us to use was. Because like we both went, we should bust the tables, but where do we put all the crap?
right. But it was
Yeah.
like,
and then when we finally figured that out, we were like, all right. So, and then probably 17, 18-year-old kid started doing it with us. And he was like, thanks for helping out. And I was like, thank you for helping out. So
Yeah,
we're just
yeah.
doing this because we have nothing else to do. Then the guy cut us in line. And I was like, not going to say anything. I'm going to take the higher.
he did cut us in line, and he was complaining. So,
Yeah. And I
whatever.
also was just like,
but it's things like that.
Yeah.
People
Yeah,
don't,
the-
people see it, and they don't even think about,
they don't think twice about it.
don't think twice about it. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not doing it for anything other than, man, I get it.
I wanted the Instagram likes, but I knew that Mike probably was busy, so he didn't like it anyway. So
Well,
share
was
the
it-
story to Mike.
we pulled into a Love's and that we were going to Raton, New Mexico, and right on
Yep,
the
I've been
right
there.
close to the border, there's a Love's there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It place is packed all the
It's
time,
always absurdly
Yeah.
busy.
and so I'm waiting behind. I'm waiting for this guy. Well, he moves, and this lady comes up, and so I looked over there, and there was an empty spot over there, and I go, ma'am, I said, I'm just going to push my bike around to this empty pub here, and you could come right here." And she goes, "Well, thank you." And so I pushed my bike around there and she goes, "Could I fill your gas tank up for you?" That was so nice. And I was going, "Ma'am, I appreciate that, but there's just being nice doesn't cost anything."
Yeah,
Right.
I don't need,
Absolutely.
There's been times where I've been nice and I needed that, but I still rejected it. I was like, "You give it to somebody else."
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll get it from somebody. I'll get it figured out. But
Look, lady, it's only a 2-gallon tank. What are you, cheapskate?
Let me go get my truck and then we'll
real
talk.
real
Yeah.
Like, I didn't push my Freightliner over here.
But
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, of course that was joking,
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
yeah. But I,
She still filled my tank, but
and I know, and I was going, no, it's okay. It's okay to do something nice for somebody without her being,
no strings attached.
Yeah, no, I don't need a reward. Just, it's okay.
Yeah.
I want to do more of that. I want to do more of that with people and
that's
for
the-
people.
That's the part of traveling that I love, especially because we went on a trip last year where it was a bicycle trip, but we rode the Katy Trail across Missouri, and which is the old train tracks. And
Okay.
so
He took me on the train tracks for his birthday for 3 days. It was a weird deal.
yeah. But you're riding to like all these little small towns, and some of these towns probably had a couple hundred people, and we'd stop in at either the VFW or whatever little bar or restaurant and get a drink or get a something to eat, and camping out, and just meeting people along the way, and they're, "Where are you from? What are you doing?" And then meeting other travelers that are coming across where it's like, "Oh, I'm riding my bike from Seattle to Washington D.C." And I was talking to one guy. He was 68, and packed up everything he owned and
Took off.
Right? He's living that dream.
and
Yeah.
it's like, they're either working through something or just, living it. And it's like the people you meet when you're traveling, it's just, that's the people.
That's gold.
That's gold. Yeah.
My wife has always joked that I can make friends with anybody. I've never met a stranger. So for our honeymoon, we were in Europe for 30 days. And so she was sick for a lot of that. So I wouldn't go out to the bars. I'd go to the hotel bar. And so we'd be in a new city every other day. And I made friends I'm family members to people that I could call them up right now and be like, "I'm going to be in Holland tomorrow." They're like,
Yeah.
"You need to come stay with us. We're going to get you a car." And like, I have stories about them that they probably be like, "Oh yeah, he remembers about the softball thing." And I was like, "Yeah," because it was hilarious. And I think that's one of the things that when people were talking about getting you on, they were like, "He's got stories and stories and stories, just like you guys. And he's so kind and caring." And they're like, "And his goats are pretty cool."
Yeah, I gotta go.
That was the number one thing, the first thing I talked to you about. I was like, "Hey man, nice to meet you." And you're like, "I just live at home with my goats." And I was like, "Can I come see your goats?" He's like, "Yeah."
Well, that's why if you wanted to do a podcast,
We may do one out there again.
I could come outside because, it's kind of out of the way, but not really. But we got 6 goats, and
Interview one of the goats.
we got 6 goats. We have we used to have 2 mature sheep, and one of them's I named him Jesus, and so the Lamb of God. And
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. I was like, was he white as snow?
Yeah.
Well, he does have a blemish, but anyway, and then but now we got another baby. That people give us babies that we have to bottle feed because
They're
my
like, "Here you
wife,
go."
yeah,
Yeah, they're like, "You're retired."
yeah. You can have this thing.
Yeah,
I don't
you
want
know.
to die. So we got another one yesterday, and it's doing pretty good. And we got 3 donkeys.
Oh, you have donkeys? Man, my
3
wife is going to come out. And
Donkeys are awesome.
Yeah.
They really are. I've one of my friends, his neighbor had a rescue donkey that would play soccer and would bring the ball up and want you to throw it, and you couldn't pet it. You couldn't touch his head because he had been abused. He was a rescue, so if you tried to touch his head, he'd bite you, or
Yeah.
But you could pet him on his body. But man, they are so smart.
Yeah, they're pretty smart.
Yeah.
And we have 3, And then we have a pig,
Oink oink. How old's your pig?
probably maybe 8 years old.
Man, it is like the funny farm at your house.
Yeah.
So-
I'm not done yet.
So
me
I want to
tell you.
paint the picture of the first time I ever heard about you. They're like, oh, Kickstart Mike. He's ridden all around the country. He rides a hardtail everywhere. He was riding around with a cult for a while. He's a born again Christian. And that was it. They didn't say anything about Funny Farm or anything. And I'm like, this is my man right here. Because he's like, I got a donkey. I was like, yeah, dude. The House of Broken Animals. Like, yeah.
Peacocks, peahens, peafowl, guineas. I don't know how many chickens we have. I can't count them.
Do you have names for most of your animals?
Not the chickens.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
We have a goose. His name is Bradley.
There was baby geese when I was getting Rexy worked on at the vet. They had all these baby geese in a town. I couldn't figure out what it was, and they're like, "Oh yeah, these are baby geese." I was like, "Can I have one?" I'm like, yeah, if you want.
Yeah, my wife was a nurse out at Integris, and out there one of her offices was right there by one of the ponds there, and the yard crew would just destroy the nest.
Yeah, they don't.
Right,
They don't care.
right.
They're not thinking about that.
No, so she went out there and one time got a couple of eggs, and we hatched them, and this has probably been maybe 4 or 5 years ago,
Oh wow.
and the geese still come back.
And come and hang out.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's
Wow.
nice.
Yep, they come out and hang out, and then they fly away for a
The
while.
winter, and then they come back.
Yeah, we saw they come up the other day, and we had one of her friends says, "I've got this duck that's nesting in my flower bed." She says, "There's no water around here, no water at all. There's no pond."
This poor duck.
Yeah. So anyway, my wife went over there and got the eggs, and we have an incubator, and she hatched them, and those ducks stayed around for, you'd be out in the backyard, and all of a sudden there'd be like 10, 12 ducks circling, and they'd land right there by her, wanting to feed her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But a couple of them come back. That's been probably about 10, 12 years ago. But
I love how he has an animal sanctuary. Like,
it's a poop factory.
it's a poop factory. I
Yeah,
cannot
yeah,
wait to
it's a
use
poop
poop
factory.
factory.
So I actually said that to somebody, and they go, "Well, what do you do with all that poop?"
That's a good.
You're
what
like-
do you do with all that poop?
Fertilize my garden.
I go, yeah, it's
Is that
like,
what you use it for? Fertilizer?
no, it's a joke.
Oh, well, I mean, to be fair, the quantity of animals spoken about alone, which I feel like there's still more, there's a lot of poop out there. There's a
Well,
lot of
yeah,
shit
but
going around.
but you.
There's a lot of land.
It's
spread
10
out,
acres.
too.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just- yeah, okay.
So,
all right,
but the
fair.
chicken coops we have, once a year, we'll take we'll scoop everything.
Yeah.
We put pine shavings in there, and then we'll scoop it out and till it in the garden, and
Makes sense. But the
So,
poop factory is legit.
but it's a joke.
He's like, come on, man, get it together.
Well, poop factory. Yeah, it's
I just
what I call it,
imagine,
like the funny farm.
I imagine seeing Mike on the road. He just comes up on his chopper and and then it's just, what do you do for a living? I run a poop factory.
I got a poop factory.
I run a poop factory.
So, what is your current chopper you're
yeah.
riding?
Well, I've got a 1947 Knuckle.
Right.
That's the one I had out
at Fort Thunder.
At
Yeah.
Fort Thunder,
yeah.
yeah.
I did not get to look at it closely enough. Yeah.
Love Knucklehead engine.
Yeah,
That's
everybody
probably
does.
That's probably my favorite. I know everybody loves the Panhead and thinks the Panhead's the prettiest. I actually think the Knuckle is one of the best looking engines.
I prefer generator bikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the generators, like from the 69 on
right,
down.
Right.
So not
The
not
shovels.
stator and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
The shovel.
Right.
From 65 to 66. I mean, from 66 to 69, they had a generator.
All right. All right.
And a lot of people call them pan bottom shovel tops. which
Right, right.
They kind of are.
So it's kind of a hybrid.
It's like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Well,
Whatever.
but they
Well,
had
I mean,
they had the generator. They had the jennies, the generators. I mean, the Knuckles were a generator, and before that they were generators. But
Can I ask why you prefer the generators over like a stator?
It's just an old school look.
Okay.
It's kind of like a.
Oh, so it's got an actual defined look to. I don't own a Harley.
That's okay.
Okay, so I'm learning.
That's fine.
All right. He took pity on me.
I'm like, gosh, what's this guy doing?
Why did he bring me over here, fucker?
But yeah, they're just kind of like a ratchet top
All right.
lid on a transmission. You know, they want the ratchet tops.
Okay.
You know, cow pies are okay, but they're not a ratchet top.
Right.
So it's a visual look. That's
yeah.
What it is. So you like a bike that works, but if in preferred method you want to go visually how it's going to look.
That's old school stuff. You know,
right.
it's like that. You know, that's why I was telling you that choppers are my passion. That's because I like making stuff for my own bikes, and a lot of people just have other people make it.
Right.
And,
Right.
And that's something, you know, I've always built everything because I grew up poor.
Yeah.
So like I said I needed a table, and then I pulled this drag radial or this drag slick out of my storage.
Yep.
Because I didn't want to
Put a glass top on it.
And I put a glass top on it.
There you go.
And it's pretty cool.
That's-
And I built the
And
base.
he actually, thank you, Spanky. He did build the base because it was just on the floor. But so I mean, like, but a lot of the times, like I remember when my dad and when I was growing up, like he would build stuff like square bodies, square body Chevys, and no one
Right.
wanted them, and they all wanted the new truck, and now everybody wants
That's a
a square
square
body.
body.
Yep.
And we were like, we had those because that's all we could afford.
Yeah.
And now they're cool.
It's still that way. I mean, fabrication there's an art to it, don't get me wrong, but a lot of that stems from I can't afford.
Salt of the earth, and this is what I got.
Okay, back in the day, you know, when we couldn't afford to pay somebody to paint our bikes. I mean, there's people that could,
Yeah, but it would
Right.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And there's people that couldn't, or
Yeah.
they wouldn't. So what you did is you went into the shed and found some exterior paint and got you a brush and painted your.
Yeah.
You know, that didn't happen very often, but
No, well,
it's a rattle can, you know, back then too. But
So I bought a KZ 1000, and we're talking about what I need to do to it. And like he's like, "Oh, you should take it the blah blah blah." I'm like, "Well, if I get the tank dip because it's rusty, I'm gonna spray paint it. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Everything I own can be 20 footers. I don't care. Like, I've only had one nice vehicle. My wife wrecked it for me. So, and I think there's something I've always kind of. I had buddies that had money. They bought really cool stuff, and they had cars made.
and there's nothing, and that's great.
And my thing is, dude, if you enjoy it, that's cool.
Yep.
But it doesn't make me, it doesn't make me a better motorcycle
No,
person than,
not at all.
it's like,
Doesn't make you go in the corner any harder or any softer.
right. But, it's
I mean,
like,
if you have $100,000 in a bike, you might go in a little softer, but yeah.
but it's like, some people get down on people for trailering to Sturgeon.
I used to make that joke because before I knew, and then when I got a motorcycle, I was like, bro, get it.
Yeah. No,
But
I'm
know that-
completely like, look, I really don't want to ride in 4 hours in any direction from Oklahoma City. I don't want to ride to Amarillo. That's
especially north, in
especially
the
north.
cornfields.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's corn.
It is.
Yeah.
I've trailered out to New Mexico, and like I said, I've got a friend that lives out in Alamogordo, and then we rode out there, we'll go through Cloudcroft, Ruidoso, all up in that area. And it's like, I don't want to ride from here out to there. I've ridden long distances. It's like, and there's a time I don't mind doing it if it's like a group of people and like, hey, let's go here and let's do
Like K River.
a trip. But like if I'm just out, I'm like, yeah, I think I'll ride 1,000 miles today, or like riding to Sturgis. I know people that are like, come on, let's go to Sturgis. And I'm like, all right. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna ride 800 miles in one day, 110
lot,
miles an
yeah.
hour. And
It's
I'm
a
like,
long day.
I'm good.
Yeah, it's like I go to K River and they go, "Hey, we're going to go for a ride." And I go, "I just got here.
Yeah.
Well, and that,
I've been riding."
I've been riding all day. Like,
yeah.
And so I bought a trailer from this guy Sam Wells who builds Top Fuel bikes.
Yeah, I know Sam.
Well, I
I know of him. I met him.
Well,
a
if
few
you
times.
want, I won't give you his phone number, but we'll go. Okay. He's told me not to give it out. But so I bought a trailer from him, and he was like, "Yeah, well, we used to ride to Sturgis, and then I bought this trailer to Sturgis." And he's like, "After you've done it once, you can tell everybody else to shove off because you've done it the one time." But he goes like, "It's so boring to get all the way up there. You're so tired. you're in one of the most beautiful parts of the country, and now you can't ride because you're so tired. And
I rode a couple years ago, TJ. You know Big TJ? The Oklahomies?
Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah, him and I rode our choppers up there. I met him in Ponca City, and 2 years ago we rode our choppers up into Sturgis, and we had a great time. And then from there we went over to Hell on Wheels in
Wyoming.
no, it's straight east, kind of north and east. I can't think of but anyway, it was. Every time I go there, they go, "Where was it at?" And I go, "Man, there was a cornfield next to it." And some people, and they look at you like,
What?
Cornfield? Yeah, like
Yeah.
corn. Oh yeah, it's right next to a. You can't miss it. It's right next to a cornfield.
I mean, if you're thinking about it.
you drive for a whole day, and that's all you see is cornfield.
all you see.
Yeah.
But going back to trailer and stuff, it's like, whatever makes the world go around. It's like.
Yeah.
I look at that trailer and I was going, you know what? That guy bought that trailer. He worked his butt off.
Correct.
And he bought that trailer. And the trailer where he bought it, the guy made money.
Yep.
He got to put food on his family's plate.
There you go. Yep. And he bought this nice big, we used to call them full dressers, bagger.
Right.
Yeah, a performance bagger.
Yeah,
full dresser is what I'm going to start calling them again. Bringing it back.
So, that guy made money. The salesman made money. Everybody made money off of that. And then you have to buy a big old truck.
Yeah, that guy made money.
That guy made money.
And
it
the
stimulates
factory guy. Yeah.
And then the gas stations you got to stop at.
Because you can pass everything but a gas station.
Yeah.
I just read a statistic from one of Lou's friends that was at the SEMA stuff, and it was fascinating that the aftermarket performance industry, known as SEMA, also involved with motorcycles and all that stuff, and employs more people than any other industry in America, which was fascinating. I'll have to get it, but I'll share that post on the page. But like, if we really think about it, it employs so many people because of the trickle-down economics of it, because it goes from you wanting that bike to what you need to be able to have that bike.
Right. And when you get there, just think of all the Windex and paper towels they use for people polishing their bikes when they pull them off the trailer.
And all the
And
dudes,
trash.
And all the dudes you're going to meet who are going to come up and tell you they love your bike.
Yeah.
Man, my wife was joking one time when I got
Do-rags.
Yeah.
do-rag. When my wife was like, when I first got my first street bike again in 2020, she was like, "Oh, you're just gonna talk to the ladies?" I was like, "It's like any other hot rod I've ever owned. It's always dudes. It's never women. It's always some old guy or some young guy that's like, that's really cool." And I'm like, "Yep,
You got to do this to it?
Yeah,
What's it got in it? Just a cam?
Yeah.
yeah. It's just a cam, man."
I was a painter. I painted houses for a living. I had a painting company.
Okay.
Right.
So I had this white van, and nobody ever came up to me and goes, "That's a nice white van. What year is that?"
You know what? Maybe he's on to something. Maybe I should just own them all white stuff and just. I mean, I'm already like a 6 foot tall ginger. They'd probably be like, "Ooh, leave that man alone."
Yeah, nobody ever came up to me, but as soon as you get on that bike, oh, that's a nice bike.
Yeah,
That's a nice bike.
How many bikes do you think you've owned at this point?
I had not a whole lot. Let's say 18.
That's all right. My wife doesn't have anything I can complain about with that one now. I feel like, hey,
I built my, here in the last 15 years, I built all my, built all my bikes.
so
Right.
your preferred method for like a frame? Do you go to a swap meet or do you just?
You can.
That's so.
I don't really like to buy used frames because you can't tell if they're bent or not.
That's true.
I bought a when I bought my knuckle, it was a full bike. So when I took the back, it needed a back tire, so I couldn't get the axle out of it. So I had to get a rubber mallet and start beating on the axle. And when I did it, the back end goes boing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was off about a half inch.
Oh, wow.
And I was going, okay. See, I even called Sam
Okay.
and asked him if he would
Like redo all that.
redo the frame.
Yeah.
This was when he he was getting out.
Yeah, of all the Orange County chopper builds and all that.
Yeah, so he didn't have time. So anyway, and so I just go, you know what? I'm not messing with this frame. I'm not messing with it. So I bought a Paco.
Oh, so you bought it? So okay, I was wondering about that.
I bought a Paco frame because, you know, I just didn't.
It's the peace of mind. Peace of mind. You don't have to deal. You don't have to.
Exactly.
You don't have to deal with it. You know.
Yeah. Why be riding down the road like this, all
Yeah.
cattywampus, and then wearing out tires every 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I bought, I like buying new frames that are straight. It just makes my life easier.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that's one thing. That's a learned experience too. That you've gone down the route where you don't buy, or you always fixing something, or it's like you never get it back to where it was. You're always going to have an issue somewhere, somehow going to have a wobble, a creak, or something. Dealing with old cars or old houses or old anything.
I've done that.
Everything
only knew once.
Everything has its quirks,
Yes.
and that's like my first car. I had a '63 Volkswagen. That's how I learned to work on cars, because I was 15 and I didn't have money, and so it's like I had to fix it, And then when I bought my first house, I think I was 19, and I bought an 80-year-old house. Well, I didn't realize that 80-year-old houses are
80-year-old houses
really expensive when you get people to come out and say, "Oh, I can fix that," and it's going to be $1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like making $7 an hour. Like, say,
I guess
what?
I can learn millwork now.
It's like, no, I learned how to do plaster. I learned how to wire. It's like, because you had to, out of necessity. But like you said, going that peace of mind and time and effort, it's like that's you get to a point where you're like, it's worth it to not have to deal with it.
See, I had quite a few 4-speeds, ratchet tops.
Right.
The one came with that bike, and so after I got the frame, I didn't even like the tins that were on it. It had an alien tank. It was too small. So anyway, I just stripped it down and I started all over. And
what you want.
It just I built it for me, and I didn't even know if the guy I bought it from said that it does run. And so okay, well, and I knew that. Okay. When somebody says then I said, "Did you start it?" No. Okay, so all right, I'm taking a chance here, and that's fine. That's that, and I knew that. So I had these, and I put the 4-speed in my new build, and the second and third gear was messed up.
Oh, it didn't work.
No, so I took it out, and I bought a video on how to, I've looked in them, and I've never really torn one apart, and I've never put one back together.
Yeah,
I've torn a lot of these apart, but I've never successfully had that together.
It was a mess.
Yeah,
you tear it apart and put it back together, and you're like, "Why do I have this box of extra parts?"
So many ball bearings and springs over here. I don't really understand why.
So I called Baker Transmission. Yeah. Are you familiar with Baker?
Yeah.
Okay, I called I called him. I said, I need a 4-speed short shaft, small shaft. Okay. Put it in there. Never had a leak. Never had no problem with it.
All good after that.
Yeah. And so I built another bike, and took it. I said, "What's this transmission?" "Oh, it's been rebuilt. It's great." And then
it subtracts money in my head.
Yeah,
because I'm like, oh, someone else has touched this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, it leaked. It leaked not a little bit. It leaked a lot.
It leaked like a sieve.
Yeah, and everybody, "Oh, I can fix that. Oh, I can fix that. Oh, I can fix that. Oh, yeah, that's easy. All you got to do." I give it to him.
Throw away and get a new transmission.
Yeah. So I give it to him. Fix it. Fix the leak. And because I know I'm not gonna. I don't want to mess with it.
Right.
It's too many gears, and I don't. I'm not doing it.
It's more than 2 parts. This is complicated. Yeah.
It's more than my bent screwdriver and bolt peen hammer
can take care of. Yeah.
It's just Harley's leak. That's what it is.
Yeah.
If it's leaking, it
that's
has
what
oil
they.
in it.
That's what they tell. That's the hard. It's
just
going to
market
leak.
its territory.
No, I wanted. I don't want it. Yeah, I mean, it was pouring out.
Yeah.
Huh?
So anyway,
you know,
and all these, and then again, all these, oh, I can fix it. I can fix it. So finally, I just, Baker, send me another transmission.
please and thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew I was going to ride this bike. I knew I was going to, my second build, I knew I was going to ride it. And I did.
How many miles do you think you put on that one?
I still have it. I went to Dan and Al and Brian Helm is a photographer.
Okay.
We left Dan's house in Weatherford, Texas, over by Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
And we rode down to Terlingua, went from Terlingua down into Chihuahua all the way down to a little town, a little old mining town at the bottom of the Copper Canyon. It was called Batapila.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
we went down there, and then we went over to all the way around to Durango, and then Durango into Mazatlan, and then took the ferry over from Mazatlan to La Paz and the Baja, and then rode her all the way. We were all on choppers.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that was a long trip.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
That seems like that when I'm thinking about that how many miles do you typically put on in a day on one of those trips?
Nobody has speedometers.
Okay, fair.
It's like, and but the thing of it is I don't remember what I was going to say, but we don't have speedometers.
Yeah, so
we did 4,500 miles.
Yeah.
Because one guy took Dan's Pan America. Dan has 2 Pan Americas, so he took it. The photographer did.
Yeah, because he was like, I'm not doing all this crazy nonsense.
Well, he didn't have a chopper anyway.
Yeah, that's same. I want one, but I don't have
But
one.
I've got some pictures. I got a lot of pictures on my Instagram that that trip we took down there, and it was
That's pretty country.
That's
Copper Canyon's beautiful.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
went to Terralingua earlier this year, and it was really
March.
February.
February.
Yeah,
end of-
that was
end of
your
February.
Valentine's Day gift or day gift to me.
Yeah.
He was like, "We're going to the
We went.
we're going to the
Terlingua,
desert."
there's nothing there.
It was
We-
there's 2
we-
things there.
We were between. We're right outside of Lajitas,
Yeah,
and we
Okay.
camped on the river on the Rio Grande,
yeah.
and we're biking and
okay.
Bicycling.
and bicycle.
Bike,
yeah, yeah, and camping out, and then went over across the over to Mexico at Boquilla. Boquias and
Is that where you cross the river?
yeah,
Where you have to
Yeah.
wade across, or
Where-
they have
yeah.
a boat?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And then we rode the donkeys up to the town, and
That's where that little donkey comes from. The one to the left, right there.
Oh, he's so cute.
Yeah, but it's like so when you. That's a long day on a chopper, especially a hardtail.
Yeah, I built that bike. I built it for me.
Uh-huh.
I'm 5'9" on a good day, and
At
I
the end
used
of that ride, I was 5'6".
five,
Lost 3 whole inches.
I used to be 5'9" and a half. I don't know where the other half went.
Somewhere in New Mexico.
Yeah, but
it's these Oklahoma roads.
Yeah.
Dan always gives me crap about having springs on my on the seat.
No, so you have a Springer seat on yours.
I have 2 springs. I says, "Hey Dan, it's my full suspension hardtail." Okay, so
And for the listeners that don't know what that is, please describe how big is that spring?
it's 5-inch spring.
Oh, it's a 5-inch spring.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the biggest one I could get. So,
Yeah.
I tell people, I said, hey, when you're in your 20s, man, you just put
Just a
piece
flat
of-
seat.
Yeah,
You
just no, you don't even put a
you
seat.
can
put
handle it.
cardboard.
Yeah, pan on.
Or
it.
or a blanket or something.
Yeah.
You just
One of these.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There you go. That's a Mexican blanket.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you're young, and then when you get in your like almost 30, you kind of scratch your head and you're just going, I'm going to get me a real seat.
Yeah.
Okay, you get
Yeah.
a real seat. And then when you get to be about 32, 35, I'm going to get me a 2-inch spring. And then when you get into your 40s, I want a little bit bigger spring. And then,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm 72, so I want to get some 5-inch
At
springs.
least I'm riding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like my primary bike I have now, I put 16,000 miles on. And like, I've never let the state on that bike until we went down the K River. but it does have cruise control. So 45 minutes in, I can't feel my hand anymore.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I just really want a throttle lock or cruise control, man. It's all I want. And I got a throttle lock finally. It's the first one I've ever had. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to improve my riding distance because I can at least go 55 minutes now and be like, I can feel it again.
What I had a long bike. It was 27 over.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It had a Sugar Bear front end, and I took it. I went to Florida Bike Week with Dan and Nick because Dan races. Dan had a 45 flathead
Oh, wow.
that a guy built a motor for him to race,
Okay.
and it's there's no brakes on it.
No, it's all go.
Yeah, it's just there's no brakes.
It's engine braking.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's being real generous.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Was that the, what is that? The not distinguished
Sons
Zone?
of Speed.
Sons of Speed. Okay.
That's Billy Lang.
Oh, yeah. Have you met him before?
Yeah, I got a picture with him. Woo!
It's funny. 'cause
I never
'cause
posted it.
As a kid, I was like,
When I
Billy
was
and
a
Jesse
kid,
were all
yeah.
those like idolized because I was like 10, 12. And like now I follow Billy on Instagram. Like I send him a message. He's a normal dude.
Yes.
I was like, he's totally approachable. Like,
Yeah.
like that was an idol when I was a kid. So anyway, so sorry, that's Billy Wade still, but
Yeah, and so I took my long bike down there and took it to a show, and a couple of shows, and had a guy that wanted to buy it, and
and I wanted to sell it.
yeah, I'd had too many bikes, and it's just too many bikes in my shop, and it's just like every time you ride it, you get off of it, and you just sit there and wad up $100 bills and throw at it.
Oh,
until-
right. You had a boat. Yeah, you might have as well had a boat. Yeah,
or a house,
Yeah.
old 80-year-old house.
yeah, yeah.
So he wanted to buy it, and I turned this 2 years ago. I turned 70, so I took that money and I went down and bought me a brand new. It was a nice bike.
Yeah.
I brought a brand new Street Bob,
Oh,
nice.
nice. Okay.
and when I hit 70 years old, so
So do you still have the Street Bob?
yeah.
So what? I mean, so do people mostly like not know that you have that?
I don't care if they know. I always tell people, I go,
You've paid your dues.
no, I don't.
Yes, but I feel like that's not where his explanation is about to be.
Right.
The first guy that takes a picture of me on this bike and post it, I'm gonna kill you.
No.
And so they really thought I was like, well, I don't know about killing, but they.
I'm gonna mess your day. I'm gonna fuck your day up. Yeah.
So I go, I don't want anybody taking pictures of it. That's why I wear a full face helmet. I don't want anybody to see kickstart my on a new bike. Okay.
Okay, so when Clint was here, I go, "How are you named Electric Start Clint?" And
Yeah.
he goes, "Because there's this guy named
Kickstart
Kickstart Mike,
yeah.
and that's how I know him.
Yeah.
Known him forever, blah blah blah." And I remember asking him, I was like, "Do you think he owns anything that has an electric start?" And he goes, "No, never." And I can't wait to text him and be like, "Listen to this episode."
Well, this was it. This was when I hit 70, and I just, I don't care if so what.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I want to. When I first got that thing, I hopped on it and went all the way down to South Padre Island, and I just hammered it.
right.
Yeah.
You were just getting at it.
Yeah, it was fun. I went to last year. I went to Phoenix, not Phoenix. Sometimes I get the pressure. I can't think of the South Arizona.
Bisbee.
Yeah, I went there twice last year, but the other bigger town,
Tucson.
Tucson. Why can't I think of that?
I was like, we're but not Bartlesville. Yeah.
No, but anyway, yeah, I went to.
Barrett Jackson, but that's not a town. That's just they just have a thing going on.
But I went there twice last year on that bike.
Oh wow.
That stretch.
Uh-huh.
I do not know this stretch.
Oh,
but
that stretch.
I know that stretch.
Oh my gosh, it's like the wind's blowing and it's boring and
yeah.
Yeah.
90,
It's
95, 98,
Yeah.
all the way.
All the way.
Do you ever in that moment ever regret getting into motorcycles at that point, or you're just like, this is just happening until it's over?
I mean, going that fast?
No.
No.
Just like when it's just the wind and
Oh.
the heat and all that stuff. You're like, I could be in a car.
It's just no.
I was waiting for him to be like, "No, you're an idiot." One of my buddies. So I was out riding. I don't wear full gear, but I wear a jacket and helmet and gloves.
Yeah.
That's one of my conditions of parole for my wife. And so I got over to his place. And I'm sweating, and I'm just dripping with sweat. And I'm in the driveway, and he was like, "Don't you ever think about driving your truck?" I was like, "Nope. If I wanted to be in my truck, I'd be in my truck."
Yeah, because I already know. I already know what's going to happen. You're going to get hot. You're going to sweat. You're going to get cold. Okay, I was coming back from the prowl one time on my chopper by myself. I was on my 51 pan, and so I decided to go through Amarillo. So I go to Amarillo, and it started raining, and then it started sleeting, then it started snowing. So I got me a $65 motel.
And you just said, "This is where I'm at."
Yeah, I go, and it's like the next morning. I mean, I pull my bike inside the room.
That was the next question.
Yeah,
we've had several guests talk about being where they've
I've done it quite a few times.
their bike slept inside with them.
Just don't get caught.
I mean,
It's got gasoline in it, so that's what they frown
They get a
on.
little weird, but
yeah.
you roll it in and
Mohammed, he don't care.
Yeah, I was like, most
Yeah.
of the Patels, they're usually like, whatever, man, that's fine, I don't care.
Just give him a pack of
Cigarettes or something.
curry powder.
Dude, I want currywurst. The hot dog guy that does our event not our event, but the event we go to every Thursday. He was like, "I'm trying to think of new hot dogs." I was like, "You should look at currywurst from Germany because they're delicious." They take a hot dog, they put curry on it. Whew.
I don't care for curry that much.
I'm gonna try to change you, man.
But I'll eat it. I'm a garbage disposal. I'll eat about anything.
Yeah.
But anyway, the next morning I take off, and it was really, really, really windy and really, really, really cold.
Amarillo, windy.
Yes.
No.
I can't believe that. Western
And,
Oklahoma,
yeah,
northern Panhandle of Texas.
Yeah.
Horrible weather.
Oh my gosh!
Smells like cow shit. Weird.
Oh, that's in Dalhart.
Dumas, or Dalhart.
Dumas
Yeah.
and Dalhart.
Dalhart's
Yeah.
where I got the most expensive speeding ticket I've ever had to date.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Dumas and Dalhart
Yeah.
smell like cow shit. Odessa and Midland
smell
smell like oil.
I think in Midland, and I think the sun could like disappear, in Dalhart and Dumas would always be 100 degrees.
Oh,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, it's awful
yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
My friend's wife is from Borger, and I went out
Borger,
there.
yeah, I
Yeah.
go through that.
Man, and he was like, "Oh, Borger's so cool. I can't wait to like eventually retire there." I'm like, "For what?" I was like, "Retire to the 7th level of hell?" All right.
I went to run the Raton, and on the way back, it was 103 degrees. I was going through Borger, and I was tired, so they had this fresh asphalt,
Right.
and it was like, it sounded
Coming
like,
off an oven. Yeah.
no, yeah, it actually sounded like I was going through like 3 or 4 inches of water.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all sticky too.
Oh, man. And I got a motel room, and I slept for 2 days.
So that's one question. So I did get asked this from someone that knows a little bit about you but doesn't ride. Their question was, do you hotel it most of the time, or are you backpacking and camping out of a tent? Or does it change on what you're doing?
If it rains,
Uh-huh.
I get a motel room.
Okay.
If it's so miserably hot, I get a motel room.
All right.
If not, I try to, or if I need a bath, I go find a cow pond. I always take a bar of soap.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, or truck stop.
Truck stops is what I was
I've done
thinking.
that.
No,
I've hit.
absolutely not.
No, you're anti-truck stop.
Oh, they're nasty.
I would
Burrito
rather as a trucker.
I would rather go in a creek, a river, or a pond before I'll go take a bath, a shower, or whatever. And
Yeah.
and I take a bar of soap with me. When I get to Loretta Lynn's, there's a little river that flows through there. Everybody, you just sit in there, and I take a bar of soap and
Just soap up and
soap up and keep my underwear on because
don't want to be a pedophile
right,
or a sex offender.
Sex
Yeah.
offender. So
Yeah.
they
were like, well, you tent camped last weekend, and I was like, yeah, I've been planning for it, and they're like, but wonder what he does. I was like, that's a good question I'm going to ask because I feel like it might be a little bit of both.
When we went down into Mexico,
Uh-huh.
on that 2.5 week, about 4,500 miles, it was, you can get a motel room for $10.
When you get down there, yeah.
Right, in Mexico. And Dan and I went down there by ourselves one time in 2020 it was.
Okay, during COVID and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And we
Probably
had-
could have got a hotel room in Oklahoma or in America.
Well,
for
we
20
got-
bucks too.
we actually checked into a motel, and after the lights came on the next morning, we figured out we were in a hotel.
Did you like gasp and go, "Oh no"?
No, he just got on our bike.
It wasn't clear because they had hourly rates.
Yeah, I go, we go in. We were tired that night. We pulled in
How many
there.
hours you want it for? 24.
There was one little bitty light by this door, and I guess that was the office. And I asked her, I says, I speak a little Spanish.
Yeah.
Yo quiero un cuarto, por la noche. And she says, okay. And like $15-20, whatever it was. And I go, la llave, the key.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, no hay llaves. We don't have any
What?
key. No key.
Nobody's there that long.
Yeah, we don't have any keys. So
It's a tablecloth over the door hole, sir.
So anyway, I told my wife about it. She goes, "You went to the hotel."
The hotel.
The hotel.
The no-tell hotel.
Yeah.
So
There's a couple of those in the city still. So
anyway, no, we didn't have a key, so we pulled our bikes into the room and blocked the door.
I was gonna say, did you barricade yourself with the bikes?
Yeah, we did on that night.
That's what I'd be doing. Normally,
And,
you try to keep them safe. Now they're trying to keep me safe.
And when I woke, it's like, hey, I'm in this. So I slept under the covers. Dan slept on. We just had one bed. So they didn't have any two-bed ones.
They're like, why would you need two?
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
having orgies.
Yeah. So Dan slept on the top of the bed, and I slept in between the sheets. When I threw the sheet back, and the next morning I looked in there, it was the biggest, deadest bed bug I'd ever seen.
Oh.
It was dead. But
Thankfully.
You're like, what killed the bed bug?
probably Dan.
Probably Dan.
But he goes, man, I can't believe you slept in between the sheets. I says, I can't believe you slept on top of that. But anyway,
cold?
we got the heck out of there that
Yeah.
night. We took off and hit the state. That was in Chihuahua.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where I've been in some. So we went through Cuba, and their Casa de Particulars, so it was like Airbnbs. Most all of them were generally pretty nice. There was one where there was like 4 beds, and we're like, why the hell are there 4 beds in here? And I was like, well, we're picking which beds we want because they're the size of a chair.
Yeah.
So like me and my wife couldn't sleep in one bed, so I was like, good night. Like Ricky Ricardo was over there. I was like, she was Lucille Bell, and I was like, well, all right. And I looked at one. I was like, I don't know what that creature is, but that's gonna go back to its bed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those. Hey,
It's a place.
it's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how boring would that be if you we just got a motel room.
We went to a
and-
La Quinta in Chihuahua. And
Yeah.
they didn't
Yeah.
speak any Spanish. They spoke English only. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Marriott looks the same in whatever country you go to. It's Marriott is a Marriott,
It's
and
true.
But they had a little garage that you could we pull our bikes in, and it had a curtain, like a shower curtain. I mean, it was a curtain that
Yeah.
that you shut, and I was going. So anyway, when we got in there, we decided to pull our bikes in there.
Yeah, you're
and-
like, I think it would be more secure
Yeah.
with us. Yeah.
But we actually, this last year when we went down there, if it's cold, I mean, we'll sleep outside. We just pull over and find some place to
Yeah.
crash.
Anywhere where
Right,
I leave my
right.
head's home.
Yeah, there was one place we went to. I've got the name of the town on the picture, but there was a guy. It was a convenience store there, and we were trying to get to Durango. So we asked, it's like we're not going to get into Durango until late, and so we stopped at this convenience store, and Dan goes, "Hey, Mike, ask this guy if we could sleep in his front yard." So it had an old broken down tractor there, and
Okay.
he had some barn, and he had chickens and stuff like that. And so I asked the guy, I says, "Is it possible that there's 4 of us? Can we sleep out here?" And he's going, "What?" I go, "Yeah, can we have sleeping bags and everything and tents, but
Yeah.
we don't put our tent. I didn't have a tent.
I was
We
gonna
just
say, do
slept
you put
out.
a tent up, or you just like?
No, I
Okay.
just sleep next to my bike. And
Man, just real.
yeah, I got some
telling you,
pictures of it on
hammock it.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he didn't even say hammock.
I
What the
know.
hammock game? He just slept next. He knows that hammock sucks so much. He slept on the ground next to his bike.
Yeah, I tried that. I have hammocks, quite a
Uh-huh.
few hammocks. I take naps in them, but
Yeah.
there'd be
This-
no way I want to sleep in
Uh-huh.
one all night.
Uh-huh.
Give me the ground.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. We'll get him on. Oh, I'll tell you.
And
about
you
it.
know what my favorite place to sleep is a road or a beach that has gravel,
What?
a small gravel.
Because you can
Like pea
you
ground?
kind of mold it how you want it to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I call it memory gravel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Memory.
Oh my gosh!
Well, it's because it's got a little give to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no,
can
you're
actually
Yeah.
mold it to. Because if it's hard, like
It's not tight 57
like the
stone. It's
concrete
like this. Yeah.
Right.
dirt we have here.
Yeah.
Right, it's different.
It's
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Okay.
So I asked the guy if we could sleep here, and he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "It's okay. Yeah, you can sleep there." And I was going, "No, we're gonna. Where do we go? Where do we pee at? Where we go to the bathroom?" He took us about his chicken coop, and so we, so they, as soon as I got there, as soon as he said it was okay, and we talked to the guy, I got my sleeping bag out,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to sleep. I was tired,
Yeah.
and the next morning he had gotten some blankets for us, and
Oh.
let it. He had a convenience store, so we got a bunch of stuff to eat,
Yeah.
and I also gave him some money, and he didn't want to take it.
He's like, you're sleeping on the ground. Yeah. He's
How
like,
many days you going to stay?
Yeah. He's like, how many hours would you like to be on the ground over here? Yeah.
So anyway, I gave him a little bit of. He didn't want to take it, and I insisted. I go, "It's okay. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's okay. We really would like for you to have this money." And so he took it, and then he came out and goes, "Y'all want some coffee?" And I go, "No, it's 9 o'clock. I'm ready to go to bed. I don't need coffee."
You're like, why would I want coffee right now?
But the hospitality. The guy was really nice. He brought blankets out and it covered us up, and then the next morning we went in there and got something, their sweetbread, and then we took off.
Man.
But it's like we meet people like that all the time, and it's like some of the best conversations I have are just the quick ones at the gas station.
Yep.
That's some of the
100%.
best conversation, and I've had people go, "Now is that one of them kick bikes?" And I go, "Yeah," and they was going, "Man, could I watch you start that?"
Have you ever gone over the handlebars?
No, that's yeah. But and I was going, "Hey, better yet, you want to start it for me?" And a lot of people go, "No." And then I've had people go, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to."
I'd love to try.
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Because
Like, try it.
there's a process to it. So
Yeah, and so some people, I'll wait till, I kind of get it primed up for them so it'll start.
Yeah.
But when it's warmer, it starts a lot easier when it's cold.
Yeah. Because
So-
doesn't it take like 2 kicks to really get it done?
The first 20.
First 20. I've never had a kickstart bike other than a KLR that started like, other than when the carburetor wasn't working right. It took 20, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, it's sometimes it starts really easy, and something it's just one of them deals where you never know. But
Yeah.
but I've had people try to start it, and then I always get it started, and but I have people that'll start it, and it's fun. It's funny. It's fun to
Yeah.
people really. Some people really want to.
I think it's an enjoyment level for them too, because it's very out of the realm of something that they if it was someone my age, they probably never, other than a dirt bike, seen a kickstart bike. And then
Right.
to watch you come up, this kind of seasoned looking gentleman, it's got tattoos on his arms. I don't know how far they go, but kind of grizzled.
all the way to my toes.
kind of seasoned, and then he's over here, and then you're like, hey, well, yeah, I'd love to try to start your bike because that'd be the shit. But yeah,
And I go, look. I mean, if you stand here and watch me, it's probably not going to start.
That's-
it's like
yeah. Every time I've had a hot rod.
That's how it always goes.
Yeah.
so. But I get it started. So and then I just take off and
Go down the highway.
go down the highway.
So, what is your favorite trip you think to date that you've ever done on a motorcycle?
It's like I can't really put the finger on. Like the favorite.
Okay.
I have fun on all of them.
Yeah. Okay. So,
I have fun on all my trips. I don't, I can't really put a finger on
you're
them.
not like, there was this one, and we stayed at this hotel.
Yeah.
And they
It
brought
wasn't a hotel. It was a
the
hotel.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like, and then I found out that you scuba dive. Which,
Yeah, scuba diver.
Yeah, so you've got and then so Spanky and I both ride bicycles. That's how the podcast originally kind of started, was us doing bicycle stories, and then it was us doing motorcycle stuff. So
See, I didn't know you guys rode until
Yeah.
because I have to clarify that.
Yes.
I'm gonna go I rode my bike 16 miles, and they go, so what?
Dude.
No, a bicycle.
Bicycle.
Oh,
Right.
So
And then if you ever say anything over like 10 miles, people are like, "Oh
What?
my god!" And it's like, I mean, I remember, when that was when 10 miles seemed like a daunting task, and now it's like, it's just that's nothing.
Okay, let me tell you how I started getting back into biking.
okay.
I did it when I was younger,
Right.
and then when I was in my that's me.
Oh,
my
it's
phone.
like that's my wife's ringtone for her work phone. I was like, oh, something's happening.
That's my dogs. They got out of range. I have a GPS on all my dogs. So, but anyway, what was I talking about?
How you got
getting back into
bicycles.
Oh, getting
Yeah.
back into biking.
This is the content that motorcyclists are looking for, is a bicycle content. And don't lie, we all know.
So I went to the doctor,
Okay.
and he calls me. I did some blood work. I do every year. I go do blood work
I
and
feel
everything.
like this is probably something that your wife, the nurse, has asked you very gently but firmly to do.
No,
Oh, okay.
she doesn't care.
She's like, okay, thanks, bye.
I think I got $1 million life insurance policy on.
Yeah, okay. We're the same boat.
Are you? So you going Moses? Which bike are you taking? Why don't you take that chopper? What do you call that shift now? Suicide shift. Yeah, take that one.
Take that one.
Take the one without the brakes.
Yeah.
No brakes at all.
Yeah. Oh, no front brake. Yeah. Oh my God. So I get a call from him, and he goes, "Hey, Mike, congratulations. You have type 2 diabetes."
Yep.
Hey.
Well, great, man. I don't think that's something to congratulate me about. And he goes, I'm a junk food. I love sugar.
Yeah.
Right, I get you.
You know, I just,
There's a reason why this is called Chubby Boy Magic. Yeah.
Yep.
so, women have big butts and guys have bellies.
Yeah. Big butts, big guts.
That's right.
Yep.
So he goes, "What are we going to do?" And I says, "Look," he goes, you need to change your diet. He goes, "It's not fun. You need to change your diet." So he goes, "If you don't change I'm going to see you in 3 months. You have 3 months to take care of this.
Yep.
Are you going to be you're going to
that
be on pills, medicine?"
I got that same speech.
I says, "I don't want to be on medicine. I don't want to be on
None of this.
No, I have people that I have a guy at church. He's a little older than me, but he's got to walk with a cane now.
Because of it?
Yeah, because he's overweight and he's diabetic, and he
Yeah.
takes
Wow.
insulin. And pretty soon they're going to start chopping toes off and
Yep.
your
Yep.
feet.
Yep.
And I went on a mission trip down in Mexico, and that's the biggest, most that's what their health problem. Their health
Their
is
biggest pandemic-
diabetic.
Yeah, diabetes.
They eat tortillas all the time.
Yeah.
And I understand they're good.
Everything
Yeah.
is non-diabetic
Beets,
friendly.
beans and rice
Oh,
and
yeah.
tortillas.
All the
and,
good, all
Yeah.
the good things. My
Yeah.
wife's Mexican, and
Is she?
I'm a diabetic. So yeah, let me just tell you, it's
Okay.
I have to like be super conscious about. I'm like, why don't you pick where Spanky? You pick where we're going to lunch today.
All right, let me finish my story.
I know, get at it.
Okay. Are you? Is this my podcast or is it
This is
yours?
your podcast.
Oh, okay.
Now.
all
This is
right.
your podcast now. Yeah.
All right. So I said, hon, I said, I've got to, I know you've been, okay, don't throw it in my face. I know you've been telling me, because I was been borderline for years, but no, now I'm full fledged. I am.
This is happening.
What's my ACALC or AC1?
your A1C.
A1C. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like 7.2.
Oh, that's not
Oh,
too bad.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's
No, it's high.
diabetic.
Yeah, it's not great.
so. So she got on the internet and she started getting all these different foods I can eat, and so I started, eating the
Cleaner and leaner.
Cardboard.
Yeah, cardboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
those big old tortillas that are low in carb. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cardboard.
Yeah.
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 So, but I try to stay away from those.
Yep.
So, but anyway, I can eat cucumbers
Yeah.
and squash,
Yeah.
cabbage and carrots. And,
The disdain he
Yeah,
had in his
yeah.
voice because he's like, it's not bad.
No fried chicken.
Yeah, he's like, whenever you visit the
bread,
land.
no potatoes.
Yeah.
no
rice,
potatoes.
no-
So I had a buddy of mine, he called me up and says, "Man, I'm getting me an e-bike." I was going,
Okay.
"E-bike?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a trike."
A
Well,
trike
this-
e-bike is a wild way to go with that.
So he got him a e-trike, and I says, "You know what? I need to start getting some exercise." This has been like 3 months ago.
Is
So-
this how long you've been doing bicycles? It's
Yeah,
just 3 months?
3 months.
So
and-
this is a whole new.
Well, I did. I was a runner for years.
Okay.
I've done half marathons. I did a half marathon in 94 and 95 up Pikes Peak.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
what you're saying earlier.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then I kind of got away from running and riding bikes, and I started my own business. And that took a lot of time.
It
And
does.
I was stressed out all the time. And, I didn't have time to eat right, and I just eat garbage. I got up to about, I'm about 180, between 180 and 185 right now. One time I got up to about 230 pounds.
Wow.
And I
And
was like, Jump boy. Yeah.
so anyway, we found a bunch of foods that I can eat, and it's like we have all these chickens, so I've got eggs. I can eat eggs.
Oh, yeah.
I love eggs.
Same.
And we've got these little these bannies, and they just little bitty eggs, and so I'll eat 4 or 5 of them.
Then you got to worry about the cholesterol.
No,
No.
Yeah.
no, mine's sugar. Mine's
Yeah.
the starches and the sugar, and so anyway, 3 months went by, and I went back to the doctor, and my ACL A1C was 5.8 from 7.2 to 5.8, and he goes, "I'm proud of you. You did it."
Yeah. Because a lot of guys won't do it.
And I said, I've started riding a bike. The very first ride I rode was on the river.
Oh, the river trails over here?
Yeah, the river
Yeah.
trails. And so I went 5 miles. We rode 5 miles, and I says, I feel good.
Yeah.
This is it for me. I'm going to go back.
Yeah,
I said, you
that-
guys want to take off? And I did 10 miles. And so I got back, and I go, that wasn't bad.
Yeah. It's really.
Right.
Yeah.
10 miles is
yeah.
not bad. I mean, I don't want to overdo it. But before that, I have a treadmill. So I was trying to get back into running again. And so I would walk for about about a month. I would walk. And then the next thing was I have it's called the iFit. and I have a trainer on my
Oh,
screen.
okay. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so we started out. Then he goes, okay, he said, next week we're going to run.
Okay.
So it was like run 30 seconds.
Yeah. The interval
wa-
training for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I started out really easy and everything. Well, when I started running more, my right knee was killing me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's in
Yeah.
bad gum panheads kicking them over.
Yeah.
So it got so bad that I was limping.
Oh, really?
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I said I can't do this anymore. I can't
Yeah.
run anymore. I'm done. So when that buddy of mine, he goes, I said, I'm going to try to ride my bicycle. So that's when I
Yeah,
started
it takes
riding.
a lot off your knees. That's
Yeah.
running killed my knees.
I
And-
never enjoyed it. I was never really fit for it.
I did. I enjoyed it.
You can keep all that running, Mike.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, I salute you, sir. But yeah, because he was riding bikes, and our friend Tony Crisco, he owns a bike shop. So
I know him.
Yeah. So
I met him.
he all the time was like, you need to get a bike, you need to get a bike. And I was like, and I had a bike. And then Spanky's over here getting ready for a race. And I was like, oh, well, I'll start riding with you and kind of get healthy. And then what was it? Like, what was my blood pressure where they were like, you're going to die? You're about to have a stroke at like
you were
30.
like 210 over 160 or something.
They set me because I went in because I wasn't feeling good. Like, you're gonna have a stroke, so like you should go home, and like if you don't start taking care of this, you're gonna die. And I called him on the way home, and I was like, hey, guess what they just said? He was like, well, guess what you're gonna start doing. So
Well, good.
yeah, but the bicycling is really nice because it's a lot of our friends that ride motorcycles, they laugh about it, but I'm like, it's actually really nice. It's because when I'm on the motorcycle, I'm so dialed in on trying to make sure a car doesn't hit me and hauling ass. I'm not really looking, but when I'm on the bicycle, like I'm looking around.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to find out where that dog is so I can ride my ass away from it.
Because
Yeah.
we've gotten where, like, I for a while I was cycling 4,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. So
It's a
I
lot.
was actually doing a lot.
Well,
of-
that's nothing wrong with that. That's great.
right.
No,
Right.
it's a good time though.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
but so one of my biggest fears is, and also like on the motorcycle, is people texting, not paying attention, running,
Right.
getting run over. So I got to where I would either ride just the trails, which is nice that Oklahoma City actually has really stepped up their
Absolutely.
trail
Yeah.
game.
Or
Or
my hat goes off to the
Yeah.
city.
Yeah.
or I ride up around Piedmont, Cashin, the gravel roads.
Yeah.
Where I can hear that truck coming
Right.
2-3 miles away, and a busy day I might pass 3 cars, and to me that was nice because riding on some of these roads, like I don't want to
Yeah.
widow my wife or orphan my kid, and because I've seen it where people just either texting or not paying attention and hit and kill people, and so it's like, yeah, I'll take the trail. And so it is nice that you get on the trail and you're not worried about somebody. You can actually enjoy the scenery, especially being out Saturday morning, Sunday morning.
Especially Draper.
Draper's real
Love
fun.
Draper.
It's just I like going out there because
Yeah.
you don't you're not running over syringes and
Yep.
crack
Yep.
pipes and
Yeah.
like
Well-
you do at the river.
Well,
Yeah.
it was funny.
Yeah.
So when I was trying to book you for getting on the show and all that stuff, I was like, all right, cool. Like, and you're like, you go from 10 o'clock in the morning till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I ride my bike. And I text Spanky. He was like, well, I guess from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he's on his motorcycle. And I was like, I wonder how many miles. And like, so we're kind of texting back and forth. And like a couple minutes later, you text me, Mike, and you're like, on my bicycle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So immediately I go, here's my bike and here's
Yeah.
my other bike. And I have
Yeah.
another bike outside and got another one outside.
Yeah, you go, what kind of bike you in? I got a Cannon crap.
Yeah. I
Cannondale.
laughed really fucking hard because I was like, he definitely cycles.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll ride out, like if I'm doing training routes, I'll ride out El Reno, I'll ride out like Foreman Road and go straight into El Reno, either get breakfast and then come back and, hit over Holzer and around Hefner. and
Why
back
have you
home.
never taken me on the one for breakfast?
And
Probably
we
eating
are
too much.
going to because we got to start training for hotter than hell.
He's always like, okay, don't eat food beforehand. We're going to go ride. And by the time I'm like, so one time we rode last year, it was like one of our like last rides before we're getting ready for hotter than hell. And he's like, there's all you can eat shrimp at the end of this. And so we finished like 50 miles, and he drove me to Red Lobster. He's like, "Go nuts, buddy."
There you go.
And like we had so many plates of shrimp, and the lady's like, "What in the hell?" I was like, "Just real hungry, man."
Well, Saturday I went on my first group ride with the donut.
Yeah, the donut ride.
the donut
Donut
ride.
ride.
The
Yeah,
donut ride,
over
yeah.
here by the house, right?
Yeah.
It starts
Uh-huh.
right over here in Wall
Right.
Park.
That's a good ride. And
Yeah.
there's a taco ride, which leaves out of Big Truck Tacos,
Yeah.
too. They do 25 miles.
Yeah, how was the donut ride?
I thought I really enjoyed it. Okay.
Yeah, that
I've
one's a nice chill.
Chill ride.
At first it was, and then when we hit the river, it's like, okay, I got a mountain bike, and my, I got ape hangers on it because of my lower back, and
Yeah.
and I couldn't keep up with them,
Yeah.
because they had some of the older guys, they had e-bikes,
Yeah.
Right.
e-trikes, and then the younger ones that had gravel bikes and race bikes,
Right.
road bikes. So it was there at the last. It was hard for me to. They probably got about quarter mile ahead of me, half mile, and
Yeah.
and I couldn't. I didn't really want to try to keep up with them. But there was one guy there that stayed back. I guess the guy that was leading the group.
Right.
I can't remember his name.
Yeah. Usually the group rides, they always have somebody that will stay with you,
Yeah.
just because they don't. It's.
One man left behind.
I have been that
Right.
guy that is
Yeah.
struggling, and they come back and, hey, buddy, I'm gonna
Yeah.
ride along with you.
Okay,
And I'm just like, just
thank-
go away and leave me to die.
Yeah,
and they're
the-
like,
the-
no, come
Thanks
on.
for being kind to the elderly again.
I just can't wait to be like, next time I see you, like, do you want anything? I'll be kind to the elderly today.
But but I had a great time. I mean, there was one girl there, and as soon as it's like I'm like you. There's a group of people, and it's like I've
Never met a stranger.
never a stranger, and
Yeah.
some people it's
He's
like
the same way, but
yeah,
I'm just taller.
how it's like
looking.
I've known you forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, because I texted Clint when I first saw you ride in, and I was like, Clint, is he approachable? And he goes, yeah, you're fine. And so I walked up and I go, hey Mike, my name's Squirrel, aka Cody. And when you're like, hey, and we talked for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then Spanky's like, well, you're killing all the podcast content. You can't talk to him that long. You gotta wait until they get there. And I was like, thanks, Dad. But yeah, that's one of the things I like about cycling is like I did
Yes.
boxing for a long time. I did
Boxing?
Yeah, I did. I've done everything.
I did karate, and I found out that I knew just enough karate to go out and get my butt kicked.
Yeah, I know just enough about boxing to be able to my two legs work. I'm gonna run the fuck away from you.
Yeah.
But so I did all that stuff for a long time, and it's clicky, and there's a lot of things that I get into where it's clicky, and I just hate that mentality. But bicycling, it is still clicky, and when you get into certain levels of it,
Well, I know you have the elite.
yeah,
Or you have the mountain bikers
Yeah.
uh-huh. Oh
who
yeah,
hate the roadies,
yeah,
and the roadies that
hate the mountain bikers.
think
You-
they're elite because they
Yeah, you
spent
bagger riders.
all their money.
Bagger riders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You hey, get out of here, you greasy chopper guy.
Performance bagger bullshit. Well, and so
Where's your do-rag?
so
And your IPA.
yeah, as I have an IPA. But my thing is I was never a kid that fit in with anybody. So I
Yeah,
fit
me
in
too.
with everybody because
Yeah.
I'm like, or even if I don't really fit in, I'm like, hey, I'm still cool. Like whatever you need. Like let's just hang out. But like cycling, most part, everybody I hang out with, because like he tried to get me to fling myself through the trees on a mountain bike, and they were all real accepting of the fact that I suck at it. And they were like, oh, you're a road guy, but you're here. Well,
Yeah.
It's
still,
not that bad.
I felt like
I just
flying
because you
squirrel.
were like,
yeah.
I'm quitting, and I'm like, nobody likes a quitter.
Yeah, well,
There was a girl there, and she for one of the first girls, and she goes, "My name's Karen. I'm Karen, and I said, "My name's Mike." I said, "Are you a real Karen?" She goes, "Well, I can be." And I was going, "That's great."
I wonder if it's Karen. I'm about
'Cause
to text
we-
her. Did
we-
you do the donut ride this weekend?
Because we need a Karen. We need a Karen to
Yeah.
keep us straight and lined out. But I don't know. She was. I mean, I don't know how old she. I hate to guess people's age, but she was younger.
I bet it's Karen. It'd be really funny. So we were out riding our bicycles one time.
She got a gray bike, or
Yep,
Oh,
that's
yep,
Karen.
that's
That's
Karen.
Karen. So we were out riding around Hefner, and my bike Paul Bear has this cool rainbow spokes on it, and she's just like looking at my bike, and I like roll up and I was like, "Can I help you?" Just messing around, being
Yeah.
a jackass, and she was like, "I love your bike." So we start joking around, and then she's like, "Oh, I moved from New York," and
she has a great sense of humor.
it's sometimes.
Oh, okay.
no, she really does. And so she's sitting there like talking about my bike and all this stuff. Oh, it's no different Karen then. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, is it different, Karen?
Yeah, different. Well, apparently there's more than one. They made.
She has a Trek or specialized.
I don't know. She's probably lying. But yeah, so we start talking about.
I mean, she has a great special.
She does have a great Specialized. She's probably forgetful. But she starts, and she's like, "Oh, I don't have anybody to ride with." So I was like, "Oh, here's my number. Like, start riding." So, but and then she's made more friends cycling that way. And she was like, "I had all these friends from rock climbing and stuff like that, but all these cycling people are really cool to hang out with, and they'll go grab beers, and they're not like this elite. I can only climb the wall when I haven't eaten food for 4 days, and I had to go at the whatever path and all that. I went rock climbing with her one time. I was like, my fat ass ain't climb that wall very easily.
No.
So, yeah.
Is there an elevator or something I can take?
Yeah, that's what I asked. I was like, can I just rappel up? So what is it?
Belay line.
But yeah, the belay line. I was like,
Yeah.
somebody just run me up that thing.
The guy that doesn't climb knows what it is.
Well, it's kind of like
You went to the military. They taught you.
like scuba divers. There's,
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're pretty nice people.
Yeah.
Runners, same way. Runners and cyclists, and
yeah.
Yeah.
they're all nice, great people.
I was laughing so hard because I was like trying to get you scheduled, and you're like, I was like, he has a set schedule for riding his motorcycle 5 days a week, and if there's a big takeaway, it's that we need to have a set schedule to ride our motorcycles and in our bicycles. So,
But see, I just now I have to clarify that.
it made sense.
It's like no, it's like I wrote that down. I was going, okay, I met the guy at a bike show, okay, motorcycle show. So he probably thinks I'm riding my motorcycle. So then my next text was my bicycle.
And it was like bicycle explosion.
Yeah. Oh, you got a bike?
Yeah.
Where do you ride at? What kind of bike you got?
Yeah. And then, and it was like, I used to do a small CC scooter group, and I would see all these people on Facebook being like, oh, I have a scooter. And they'd be talking about their Harley. So, like, I think it was our third event. It was originally intended for like 400 cc's and less.
Yeah.
And I invited like 5 or 6 guys that like pulled up on their Harleys, and they're laughing. They're like, we met Scooter, but you meant Scooter. And I was like, you can be at the back, but you can't be at the front.
We used to call them, back in the day, we used to call them scooters.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people
There's a
still
lot of
do.
guys that still call them Scooters.
Yeah.
So they were very upset when they got there. So, well, we're about time, sir. Are you willing to come back on again?
Yeah.
He's not. It's not like Lou when he was like, "This is my first favorite podcast." I was messing with him.
No, we'll come back.
These are
Have more
fun.
stories. Are you going to OFR this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Oklahomies?
Have you ever been?
No, this
we-
is our
we're-
first year.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going up, so we're excited about
Guess
that.
what Mike hosts? Because Clint and I talked about this the other day, and he was like, "Oh, I can't wait for you to be there for this."
What?
So, Mike, what do you host at OFR? Judge, I guess.
Kickstart contest.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause, hey, I am Kickstart Mike.
Yeah,
Yes,
this is
Kickstart
true.
Mike. Yeah.
Now we got to find a kickstart.
I gotta borrow one and trailer.
I
it up
mean, the buddy does have a kickstart.
Hey,
to- my 50cc scooter does have a Kickstarter on it.
hey, one good thing about it is like if I'm MZing the Kickstart,
Uh-huh.
I don't participate, so I'll let you kick my bike.
Hey, I'd be okay with that.
All right.
It'll probably throw you over the handlebars.
And then it's just like the whole crowd.
Oh, I will be getting video of this.
If you'll let me do it, I'll totally do it up there. Because we were gonna. So Spanky and I were gonna go to OFR last year, and then like life got in the way at the last minute.
I'll let you. My plan is to take my 47 knuckle up there.
Oh, good.
Oh,
The-
wow.
that one that I had at
yeah,
the.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's real easy to kick.
Okay.
Real easy.
Okay.
Real. In fact, sometimes my knee hurts and I have to.
Hand do it.
Yeah.
Have you hand started a Kickstart bike before?
Yeah. Dan did it. Because it's really easy to start, and I was going. I like my teeth.
yeah, yeah.
But if that thing kicks back on you,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna come over next week and leading up. I'm gonna brush up on that.
We need to get that shovel from. My brother has a 74
Oh, we need to go
shovel that's kickstart.
1974.
Yep.
Okay,
And in my
And it's a rolling.
that's 74 cubic inches.
It was
a rolling.
It was
roller.
a rolling chassis. It was a roller. It was mine that I bought it as a basket case, and then ended up I bought it from him, and then ended up giving it back to him because I got something that actually run because I had
He's like, "I'd like to ride
grand
a motorcycle,
dreams that
not
I was
look at
gonna
it."
I was gonna put this project together, and it was my first foray into the Harley world, and I learned don't trust people that you just met.
Oh, the
that-
6-speed
that
will fit in the
will
4-speed
sell
case.
you Harley parts because it'll fit.
Yeah.
The famous last words.
Yeah.
Well, you might have to take it to a machine shop and spend more money on it than buying.
That's right. You just get a bigger grinder.
Yeah, exactly.
Bit screwdriver got to go bit a little bit more.
But so I sold.
How long have we been doing this?
About a minute 45.
An hour and 45.
Yeah, an hour and 45.
Man, time flies when you're having a good time.
See, look,
I
everyone's
know,
favorite
I know,
podcast.
I know.
I was waiting for him to be like, "This is the worst hour and 45 minutes I've ever spent." He's like, "I rode through New Mexico. That was beautiful."
I haven't back on after OFR.
OFR, yeah. If you come back after OFR, that would be great. And then Clint will come down and talk about it. Because,
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're right there. So I want to get you out, and then I have still more questions.
I've got.
I can't want to. Yeah, I was told not to ask more questions when I'm off air, so I gotta wait.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, because I gotta wait for the stories to be on air.
Yeah.
It's called self-control.
Yeah, I wish I had done that. Well, all right, Mike. One
Thank
more
you.
time. Thank you for coming on.
Well,
But where
thank
can
you for
people
having
go-
me.
Where can people go find you at?
Kickstart Mike.
That's it.
Instagram.
Yep.
Instagram. Do you
Instagram.
prefer that over your Facebook? Because I asked you on Facebook.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
He's like, no, don't send me Farmville requests. Don't
don't-
message me.
look, just don't take a picture of me on my
Street Bob.
Street Bob.
And then share. You can take a picture of it, but you can't share it.
I don't care.
Well,
But
thank you very much for coming
Kickstart
on.
Mike on Instagram.
And
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to do a shout out.
Okay.
Are you going to do a shout out to our favorite fan?
Nate.
I mean, you always do.
Yeah.
every
Well,
time.
yeah. Thanks for listening, Nate.
I'm going to
This
do a
is
shout
weird.
out to
Yeah.
our other favorite fan.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. There. Yeah.
What?
Josh.
Josh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Stay
Josh,
sharp.
yeah,
Okay. Josh
yeah.
Casilla at Stay Sharp. Okay.
Is that how you pronounce his last name?
I don't know. I probably butchered it, but you know,
And
he all your knife sharpening needs, and he wears his hat. This is his best friend because he's your best friend.
he is your best friend.
He's usually at the farmer markets, downtown and the Edmond one. I
Yeah,
don't know his schedule,
yeah.
but if you look it up on
Stay sharp. Oh,
Stay Sharp. Okay. And
Instagram. Go find it and then
Yeah.
stab
Glad my
somebody you don't like.
deductible was met because I just about had to get stitches from when
The
he
last. Yeah.
sharpened my knife pretty good, and I
Yeah.
accidentally cut myself. A little super glue, a little duct tape.
Yep.
We're fine.
Yeah.
We're
He's a
fine.
good guy though. He's probably legitimately between him and Nate our number one.
Probably our two number
You
one
don't know
fans.
who's number 3 right now though? Mitch. Mitch is number 3. All right. We're out of here. Thank you very much, Mike, for coming on.
Thank you.
And then
Appreciate
next
it.
time we'll have more stories to share.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, and then we'll get you back on. So, and then he's got his free T-shirt, so watch for him on his Street Bob and his
right.
free
Yeah.
Chubby Boy.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.